Imagine going from getting cut and not making the team to actually being able to make the team. Well, one of the players that I trained to help them do that. So I'm going to share the four main things that we did to help them get there till we made the team. And at the end, I'm going to share four things that we're going to do moving forward to help them get better and progress in the future. Simply BeBall Jones, basketball trainer to help you make progress in your game. So I helped one of my guys who was in the seventh grade now make his basketball team. And he already had some background playing basketball before, but I had to help him progress a little bit more because he was still fairly new and still not as experienced as other guys making the team. So the first thing we did was identify his game and knowing where he's at. He was already a great hustler and a great defender. So we kind of capitalized and built from there and built off of that. So with him being a great hustler and great defender, we played a lot of one-on-ones and did little drills against me to help him grow his defense even more. I made him aware of basketball IQ on the defensive end to understand how to guard different people because he was more of just I'm going to go downhill and force everybody to do one thing. I had to help him out a little bit, understand different IQ of how to expand his IQ to guard different players a little bit differently. And then became very realistic about what his job will most likely be on the team. So, yes, you're going to be a great defender, but you're not going to be defending all the bigs. You're going to be defending guards. So here's how you defend as a guard and one of the smaller players on the team overall. Secondly, what we did was identify what he could actually do to help the team. So knowing that he's on the bottom end of the roster, if he does make the team, is that you're not going to be the primary player. You're not going to be the primary ball handler. You're not going to be the main guy to go to. So first, we have to identify what you can do to help on the offensive end, which is primarily going to be playing off the ball. Yes, you're going to be point guard, but it's not going to be your job to come in and get buckets like that. You're going to be more of an off-ball player more than likely. So we have to develop your off-ball skills, but at the same time, develop your on-ball skills to where coach can trust you with the ball in your hands as well as with the ball not in your hands. We developed a little bit of shooting, finishing, playing a lot of stuff off the catch and playing a lot of things off of the wing rather than the top of the key rim. We also built upon his defense to where he's going to be a lot better defender. So making him aware of how he can defend, not just be a defender, but be the best defender possible on that team. I told him, hey, your mindset is to be the guy on defense. I don't care if it's a big or a guard. You want coach to say, my best defender is you. You are my best defender on this team. I need to stop. I know I have to put him in the game. That's the mentality I want him to have to where now on his team, he found his value and where he can play, where he can thrive at. Not just make the team, but now survive and get minutes while he's playing on the team. But at the same time, we developed those weaker skills to where not the best ball handler, not the best shooter, not the best finisher. So we really worked on that left hand a whole lot. We really got his left hand a lot better. Worked on him finishing off with 1 foot and 2 foot. Worked on him shooting. Worked on shooting from a little bit, just enough to get him a solid foundation to where he can move forward to make more shots and be more consistent in his jumper, but not enough to where we completely broke down his shot and where he has a new jumper now. Also worked on his ball handling, make sure he could handle the ball a little bit better. Had a little fun with him, got a little bit of a bag, not too crazy, but just enough to where he can have fun in the ball handling sessions too, but enough to where he can still be a very practical and functional basketball player. So have fun and have a bag, but still be practical and simple to be a basketball player at the same time. The third thing that I did with him was be very realistic about the goals and expectations I had for him. So I didn't sit here and say, we're going to make sure you make the team. Of course, that's the goal, but I can't guarantee that. We don't know which way to go. The coach is going to go because I was very realistic about, hey, they're very guard heavy what they're going to look at and getting. So the odds you make the team just off of that alone is pretty slim. So between you and these other 5 players, he might say, I want to go a little bit bigger and get another wing. I might go even bigger than that and get another big. So it's just very iffy depending on how the coach depends and swings on what you want to do. But I want to be realistic in the standpoint of you want the coach to feel bad by not putting you on the team. You want him to say, I can't miss out on putting him on the team. Yes, he's a smaller guy. Yes, he's a little bit less experienced. But I, as a coach, would feel dumb not putting him on the team. And that's actually what the coach ended up saying to the dad. He said that, hey, I saw his growth over the summer and that he worked so hard that I still want to give him opportunity. He ended up getting an extra spot on the team for him because he worked so hard and grew so much that he wanted to give him opportunity to be on the team to grow even more with that chance. So we worked to where the coach mentality was he's a great hustler, great defender. I don't want to not have a guy like that on my team. I want him as the trainer to say the coach will feel incredibly dumb by not having this guy on my team. He's going to be a hard worker. I know I can depend on him every day, every game to come out and give me A, B, and C. We realize the superpowers. We want him to maximize on that, but say, hey, just because You don't have all these other things, that mean it's not a chance for you to still make the team. And as we saw, he showed his superpowers off, and his coach said, I'll take this guy on my team to roll with me every night, every practice, give me these things I know he can give me every night. And then last thing we did was set an input goal, meaning that every single day we have a goal that we're trying to do to make sure he's working on his game. So like I said, we developing his weakness in his ball handling. So every single day, had to get his ball handling. Now, did he actually do that every time? Debatable. That's another question for him to answer. But the goal is for him to have more input and work on his game more often. And part of that wasn't necessarily for him to actually put in the work, but to just have awareness of what hard work begins to look like. So I did a thing where he had a calendar. He made a calendar and he would mark out if he did the requirement we said for him every single day or not. So just so he can see the work being put in. So he could look back over the month or the past 3 months or the past 6 months and say, hey, I did work out every single day, or I did not work out every single day for this month. I worked out X amount of days this summer to know I grew and worked on my game. We want the coach to say, hey, man, what you do to get your game so much better? He can say, look, here's my calendar that I have. I made sure that I worked on these skills this every single day. I worked on my training these days and did these things to make sure I grew my game. So he can say what he can now have undeniable evidence and so much growth in his confidence. Say, I worked on these things. So now if things aren't going the way I want them to, I need to change what I'm doing for my input to when I get the output that I want to have now. But with him not being realistic or aware of the input that he has, it's hard for you to change things moving forward to get your goal if you don't know what you're doing to get there. So the big thing we had to do was make him be aware and hold himself accountable to say, I am or I am not working out like I need to be. So once I set the goal, the input, and he became aware of what to do, his game also took another step by him being able to now sit down and break down his game and say, I am or I'm not doing the work. It's that simple for him. So doing those 4 things is really what helped him go from not making a team to now making a team. Whether he's the best player or the last player that made the spot does not matter. He's on this team.
Progress is not about perfection and being perfect. It's about making growth no matter what. It's about pushing yourself to the limit and beyond those limits. Every challenge that comes your way, you're overcoming them. And it's about striving to become more and doing more. Every single step, every single day, every single dribble is a victory. You've won as long as you're making progress. Because progress is the only goal. So invest into that progress, invest into that dream. Get yourself a reminder that progress is the only goal.
So now here are the 4 things that we're going to focus on moving forward with him. Is 1, being very realistic again about his role and expectations, saying, hey, yes, you made the team, but now you're at the bottom of this barrel. So now we're going to keep growing and moving forward to where you're going to scale and grow to where you went from making a team and possibly riding a bench to now getting little minutes. Okay, now you want to get little minutes to now getting consistent minutes. You're a role player. You're one of the few guys to come off the bench every time the team's playing. You're like in that 8, 9 range of guys who I have to play. I'm going to play in a rotation, night in, night out. Next, to be more consistent role player, whether it's starting or just like that 6, 7 guy that you know you're going to play it. From there, it's like going into looking, try to be a starter at some point. Now, will all this happen in one season? 9 times out of 10, no, something crazy just happens. But expectations for him to grow from just making a team, probably not playing, to getting some level of progress and growth. Is that realistic? Yes. Can we do that in one season? Yes. So, be real about doing that is being able to first put the thought out there and have him be able to see and realize that, but realize too the work we're going to put in for doing that. So, short term, we're going to look to keep growing his game, being very realistic about, hey, it's your role in the team. We're going to maximize this role and push it to 100. So we're going to make sure you're the best at this role. If coach wants me to be the best defender, I'm going to be the best defender possible. If coach wants me to be a great big that can rebound and block shots, I'm going to be the best rebounder and shot blocker possible, because that's what's going to help me play on this team, get minutes on this team, and get more opportunity to score and do the things I want to do. If I can do what the coach needs me to do and wants me to do, I can end up doing a little bit more of what I want to do too. But at the same time, we're going to be building toward the future too. So we're also going to be building on his game moving forward. So not just being a point guard for this team, but also being a point guard in the future moving forward. But who knows? He might go a little bit further and not just be a point guard. He might end up being a wing, or he might end up being a big. Nobody knows. But still developing those skills and the mindset of things, of him being able to not have just a good 7th grade basketball skill set, but them have a great high school skill set and a great college skill set. And if he wants to go on and play college ball, cool. But if not, he's gonna be able to do that if he wants to get a scholarship and take care of business on that. And secondly, because he most likely will not be playing, I still want him to get game reps in. So during our sessions, we're gonna be playing a lot more, a lot of one-on-one stuff, a lot of small-sided games. So that way he can still get the reps into playing a game, somewhat of a game-like thing, without playing in the game. So being able to train with him a couple times a week, being able to get those reps in a game, like reps in of actually playing, will be great for him because the other players will be getting the minutes and playing in a basketball game. Well, while you're sitting on the bench, you can't get better just by sitting there. So it's my job to help him get better. So we'll be playing a lot more one-on-one, getting some other players in so we can play two-on-two and things like that to where he can keep growing his game even though he's not playing in the actual game. Thirdly, we're going to work on his mindset and make sure he's very focused and gets the right perspective on everything. It's going to be very frustrating to not be playing. Most players are going to feel that way. But I want him to have the right perspective about this to say, hey, it is fine that I'm not playing right now, but it's not going to be fine by me not doing anything and not training and working out because that's not going to help me get to my goal better or get to my goal faster by not training and not working out. It's going to help me go the opposite route by getting worse because I'm not actually training, working on my game to get better. So giving him the right perspective and keeping him in the right mind state to where he's able to take that frustration and be annoyed that he's not playing, but now he can actually use it to actually get better. Or not let him be as mad because he thinks he should be playing, but it's like you just barely made the team, so 9 out of 10, you're not going to be playing as much either. So being very realistic about the expectations for the season, how things could go, without giving him too much of a dose of reality where it becomes a negative thing and he thinks less of himself and gets uh, too negative on things rather than being optimistic about what the future could be. But of course, the most important thing we're going to do for the future is figuring out if and how he can make more minutes, so how he can actually play more. So figuring out how we can squeak in more opportunity to say, hey, the team's lacking right here on this specific thing. They don't have a lot of outside shooting, so let's work on your game a little bit more, make you a better outside shooter. Or man, you guys don't have a lot of ball handlers that can handle ball pressure. A lot of guys that can handle this thing. So now we're going to gear you towards being able to be better at this thing. So now you can at least squeak a couple minutes in. You guys are terrible at handling full court traps, full court presses. So we're going to work on that a lot more. How you can handle ball pressure in a full court situation. By him being able to be an answer for a problem makes his probability of playing a lot higher. If you are able to be an answer to a coach's problem, the chance of you playing are going to be a lot higher. So we're going to be working on that and figuring out how he can squeak in minutes here and there. Maybe against this team in this game he can play more. The next game he still might sit. But the goal is to get him more opportunities to play than he is right now. So these are the 4 things that I did to help him make the team. But here are the 4 things we're doing moving forward. If you guys found value in it, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. Goals keep giving you guys more tools and more gems to make progress on your game as well. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. See you on the next video.